All right, welcome back. Now, in the near future, Black Americans will no longer be on this earth. Eventually, all groups, eventually, all demographics fade away and go extinct. There are no ethnic groups on this planet right now that has always been here. This is simply how it goes. And I want Black Americans, men, to understand that. Okay? And we are in that process right now of going extinct. And I want the record to show exactly why we went extinct. The real cause, the real fuel behind us going extinct, aside from outside attacks, because we would be able to deal with outside attacks if we moved accordingly. If Black women had gotten under Black men's leadership and respected Black men as men, rather than trying to undermine, and rather than having so much hatred for Black men that they have. Their mind, body, and soul was destroyed, and it has not recovered. Now, shout out to Dennis Sperling, but I recently had to unsubscribe from the brother. I cannot listen to this type of content anymore. I can't listen to this type of content anymore where it's not based in reality. Listening to content that's, about fantasy, dreams, fairy tales, I can't take it. I need people to be practical and real. And here recently, he uploaded a video titled "White Feminists Started the Gender War and Left Black Women Behind." I want you to listen to this. This video is what did it for me. And this is not a stab at Dennis Sperling. I think he has a good heart. Okay, the man has a good heart. He has good intentions. His message is simply not for me. Listen to this.
So, the same white woman who convinced Black women to involve themselves in a gender war that had nothing to do with Black people is now teasing Black women because she's gone back to her man. In fact, that particular young white woman is married to a Black man, my understanding. So she also has your man.
Now, what he is talking about is a video that was made by this white woman where she's just roasting Black women for their attitudes and whatnot.
So, sisters, if nothing else, if for nothing else, it's time to end this gender war.
That right there is extremely unrealistic. To think we can just say, hey, sister, it's time to end the gender war. It's time to end it. You're talking about a group of women who hate being Black, hate Black men, who are obsessed with Brad and worship Brad, the very ground that he walks on, who has nothing but disrespect, hatred, and vitriol for Black men. Whenever they are with Black men, they look at it as settling. And when they are with Black men, they are constantly looking for Brad, constantly behind his back cheating on them. You think you can just say to a group of women like this, it's time to end the gender war, sister? That is unrealistic. And like I said, I cannot deal with unrealistic rhetoric anymore. Let's continue.
It's time to reclaim who you are as black women.
Reclaim who you are as black women. What have they ever been for them to reclaim? They were at their best when between 1867 and the 1960s, when black men were in the households and were the heads of the households. When the majority of black women were married, that is when they were at their best. Why were they at their best? Because they were under black men's leadership. And I say that very lightly because they really were not. They really were not. It was just the image. And really having a home with a mother and a father. But it had nothing to do with their effort. Them being married to black men at an 85% rate, it had nothing to do with black women's efforts. It simply had everything to do with laws and with them not having the finances to take care of themselves. They looked at black men, hey, these are the men who are going to take care of us. We cannot be taken care of by white massa no more. So we now have to depend on black men. That had nothing to do with some bright star within the sisterhood, where the sisters were so pro-black or no nonsense like that. And during the time when they were in the homes and married to black men, they were disrespecting those black men. They were emasculating them, belittling them. I've seen this with my own two eyes. But let's continue.
Nevertheless, let's make something clear. You know, despite everything we're going through right now, I know we will make it through. I know we will come together because we have to.
Okay, that's more fantasy talk. There is no guarantee that any group will remain on this earth forever.
More important, because this is what our culture was designed to do. And don't let anybody lie to you about it. Not the pundits, not the immigrants who say we don't have a culture, not the elites who try to write us out of history. Our culture exists for one fundamental purpose: to get our people from one generation to the next under the most hostile conditions imaginable. That was what it was built for. That is how it evolved. We dealt with it after Reconstruction, when the KKK, Ku Klux Klan, and the Night Riders tried to terrorize us back into slavery. We dealt with it during Red Summer of 1919, when mobs of white supremacists descended on black neighborhoods with fire and bullets. We dealt with it through Jim Crow, through segregation, through the housing covenants, through crack.
No, you can't compare physical attacks from white supremacists with black women's self-hatred and hatred for black men. That's the problem we're dealing with today. Their lack of respect, their hatred for black men. That's not the same. Again, this is more unrealistic thinking to me. That we survived outside attacks from the Klan, from white supremacists, so we'll get through this. No, we'll get through this, them hating themselves and hating us, having no morals, not caring for the things that's important in the world. This is crazy talk to me. Again, no disrespect to Dennis Sperling, but this is crazy talk to me.
Dealt with it through Jim Crow, through segregation, through the housing covenants through crack.
And we have never dealt with this. We have never dealt with black men being fed up, being tired. This is the first time. This is the first era where black men are saying en masse, I am not putting up with the disrespect, not putting up with the BS anymore. Ain't no we surviving, we gonna get through it.
Through mass incarceration, every time they tried to crush us, our culture carried us forward. The same culture they say we don't have. And how do we do it? We did it with the weapons of the spirit. We did it with our food.
The weapons of the spirit in our food. You listening to this?
Seasoned out of scraps, but turned into soul. We did it with our songs, Negro spirituals, blues, gospel, jazz, R&B, hip hop, always turning pain into poetry, rhythm into survival, sound into humanity, so loud.
Okay, see, this is starting to sound like church. This is starting to sound like a sermon from the preacher on Sunday. Unrealistic, wishful thinking, a bunch of talk that's not rooted in reality.
That the world could not ignore it.
Wait.
Hip hop, always turning pain into poetry, rhythm into survival, sound into humanity, so loud that the world could not ignore it. See, with our art and our expression showing that no matter how they dehumanize us, we can never stop creating beauty. With extended families and play cousins and...
Wait. I'm lost now. We're not dealing with people dehumanizing us. That's easy to deal with. We are dealing with completely broken families. We are dealing with a group of women who are openly undesirable. Undesirable. And it has been so bad that black men have reached the point where they have said enough is enough. That is seen in the marriage rates, where 1 in 4 of them get married. And those who get married, 75% of them file for divorce. Their dysfunction is surfacing. And more black men are seeing it and acting on it. We are not the black men of old who accepted them however they were. That's what's going on here. And ain't no seasoning on no chicken is going to help or change nothing. Ain't no singing no soul music, no song here and there going to change nothing. This is unrealistic talk right here.
Cousins and aunties and uncles and big mama and pops. Because when slavery and poverty tore bloodlines apart, we built new kinships to lean on. With our slang and our code switching and our African vernacular language, our inside language, it let us communicate right under the overseer's nose with our head nods and our grins. Even when we didn't want to smile, camouflage our communications in a hostile land with the unique balance of power.
Okay, this sounds like feel-good rhetoric. It just sounds like feel-good rhetoric to me. Nothing that he's pointing out here is going to change anything. None of the things he's pointing out here is going to make quality black men want to put up with obese, hateful, disrespectful wig wearers. But let's continue.
With the unique balance of power in our households, yes.
unique balance of power in our households? Listen to this.
We didn't want to smile, camouflage our communications in a hostile land with a unique balance of power in our households. Yes, sometimes our black women were the ones allowed to dominate the home. Because see, the outside world crushed black men. And that was survival. And ironically,
no, what? What? The outside world ain't never crushed nothing. That's not even true. Black men were standing tall and strong when we were under the most or the highest level of attack. That doesn't even make sense. He's basically saying that the black women were allowed to dominate because black men had been so crushed. His own words, crushed. How were we crushed when we had just built dozens of cities, homes, the Republican Party, earned the right to vote, built Black Wall Streets all across the country? How were we crushed? We wasn't in no degraded state. There was nothing about black men for black women to turn their nose in the air about. We were performing on a level head and shoulders above white men. They created the black code laws and Jim Crow laws because we were so skilled. So what is he talking about? They were dominant in the households because they had brought the attitudes, the hateful attitudes from slavery into freedom. When we were freed, even though they were living under our roofs, living on our dollar, even though black men were taking care of them, they were still disrespectful, hateful, and wanted to act like they ran the show. It had nothing to do with black men being broken. That is madness. As if to say that their disrespect and their emasculating black men was somehow deserved because we had been so crushed. What are you talking about? Again, this video was the last straw. No disrespect to Dennis Sperling. But this is the last. I cannot take this type of rhetoric no more. Again, let's listen to this. Let me back this up a little bit.
Our communications in a hostile land with a unique balance of power in our households. Yes, sometimes our black women were the ones allowed to dominate the home.
And wait a minute. Dominate the home, meaning what? They wasn't the breadwinners. They didn't build the home. What do you mean dominate? How did they dominate the home? They wasn't fixing the problems that occurred in the home. They wasn't fixing the car when it broke down. How were they dominating the home? Through hate, through disrespect, and through constantly disrespecting the men who were taking care of them. That's not dominating the home. That's just being a hateful, vile witch. And black men have finally said, enough is enough. This is a bunch of nonsense.
Because see, the outside world crushed black men. And that was survival. And ironically,
And so he's saying that them being hateful and disrespectful to black men was an act of survival. Again, as if it was necessary. What? What? Black women had never become the breadwinners. There was no era in Black American history where black women financially was carrying the family. Ever. In fact, currently, their desire to be taken care of, you know how today black women are always talking about, if I get a black man, he got to have this and that. He got to take care of me and all this stuff, pay all the bills. That came from the era between 1867 and the 1960s, where they literally lived on us, where we, black men, paid all the bills, built the home, maintained the home, bought the cars, maintained the cars. They simply brought those attitudes into the modern era. They've never broken out of that. I used to have discussions with my grandmother's husband all the time. And he told me when he first met my grandmother, he wanted to date her. And mind you, she was about 6 or 7 inches taller than him. He was very short. He said he thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and he pushed up on her. And he said that she told him, you got to get a job first. In other words, you got to have some money. You got to be able to take care of me. And he said that he immediately went out and got a job. And said as soon as he got a job, he came back and told her, you told me to get a job? I got a job. And then they got married. He financed the relocation from Alabama to Ohio. Financed all of it. Bought a house, built a garage, bought her a Cadillac. She always driven Cadillacs. He was basically there as a credit card. We have always been the ones who were productive, black men. Nobody out there can name one era where black women were the productive group and black men were living under and on black women's resources. Okay? This is just the facts.
And that was survival. And ironically, that was balance.
He said that was balance. How?
It was our egalitarian instinct, brothers, is why now women across the globe are drawn to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about black American men. They're drawn to men who are raised by women who will let them have say-so in the household over hollow, fake machismo, patriarchal societies where the men try to dominate their women through force.
My God. What? Jesus. Oh, God.
Egalitarian, because see, the outside world, the ones, black men. And that was survival. And ironically, that was balance. It was our egalitarian.
That was survival and balance. Black women being dominant in the home was balance and survival? Make sense out of that for me, please. Them being disrespectful and hateful was balance? I just don't get it. There was no need for black women to be disrespectful to the men who were paying for them, who were taking care of them. Between 1867, 1960s, when the majority of black Americans were married, do y'all really think black men were living on black women's income? Several of the homes that black Americans lived in were actually built by black Americans. How many of y'all think that it was black women building those homes? Was it black women building the homes, or was it black men building them? Y'all tell me. We were actually saving money. Again, we were the most productive demographic in this country, building our own homes. There was no justification for the emasculation of black men, to disrespect black men, and they made that a culture. And you can tell they made it a culture because they brought it with them after the 1960s. Why do you think it was so easy for them to co-sign with feminism? Because that spirit was already in them. In fact, white Americans appealed to that spirit that they knew was already in them. They examined black women and say, look, these women, they hate these men anyway. They don't really respect these men anyway. All you got to do is go out there, Becky, and pretend to be their friend. And they will go right along with you, and that will help break up black families. They will leave these black men in a heartbeat. Just throw them a few crumbs from the government. They will leave their kids' fathers. They will leave the homes that those men financed, that those men built. They will leave whatever resources black men have created for their survival. They will leave them for a few food stamps and some Section 8 vouchers. And that's what happened. And ain't nobody gonna convince me that that was necessary or required. That is madness.
Totalitarian instinct, brothers, is why now women across the globe are drawn to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about black American men. They're drawn to men who are raised by women who will let them have say-so in the household over hollow, fake machismo.
We were raised by women who let them have say-so in the household. That don't even make no sense to me. We were raised by women who let us have say-so in the household?
Let them have say-so in the house. They're drawn to men who are raised by women who will let them have say-so in the household over hollow, fake machismo, patriarchal.
So non-black women are attracted to us because we was raised by single mothers? Because we were emasculated by black women? Okay.
Societies where the men try to dominate their women through force. That's why foundational black American men are so attractive. See, family, what I'm telling you is that our culture is not an accident. It's not an offshoot of African culture. Shout out to GCLA. We got 8 super chats. Maybe we'll get to 10 before I'm done.
And that's the end of the video. Now, immediately after I watched this video, and all I was doing, I was just clicking on videos that popped up in my subscription list. Immediately after I listened to this video, I listened to this video. Contrast the messages
But this is what I've been trying to tell you brothers for the longest. They only care about Brad's attention. They don't care about your attention. Your attention means nothing to them. You could tell them they beautiful. You could tell them they're gorgeous. And I'm talking about your girl. I'm talking about your wife. You could tell them all that. They don't care about it. They don't care about your compliments. Your compliments mean nothing. You know why your compliments mean nothing? Because they look at you as a given. They don't.
I pointed this out over a decade ago. When when black women were going crazy over these Brads, I pointed out how when a Brad makes a video giving black women compliments, it goes viral. And I show videos where black men were giving black women compliments. Those videos get no attention at all. They do not value compliments from black men at all. They only value compliments from Brad. That's realistic. That's something I can see in the real world. Again, I cannot take fantasy talk no more. I just can't. This is something you can actually prove. They do not value when black men say you're beautiful. Y'all remember that video of that man who, this older black man who said hi to a black woman, she didn't say nothing. He jumped in his car and made a video about it. Had that been a Brad, you would have had black women jumping all over that black woman's case. You'd have had black women making videos talking about, you can say hi to me. Do y'all really think they would have responded the same way had that been a Brad talking about how he said hi to a black woman? A Brad coming off as if he was flirting with a black woman? Are you out of your mind? They would have chastised whichever black woman it was who ignored that Brad. Like, how dare you? Forgive her, Brad. Not all of us are like that. But because it was a black man, you had black women in droves making videos being straight up evil about it.
Don't work for you. They don't, they don't make themselves better people for you. They don't do any of that. So
this is all true. This is either true or it's not. That's why they wrote books on how to get a white man. They don't write books on how to get no black man. They've never felt that they needed to improve themselves to get no black man. They've always laid the demands down on the black man. You got to be this, you got to be that. Basically, you got to take care of me. Because that was the requirement immediately after slavery. Their thinking was, you got to take care of me. You have to pay the bills. You have to be the breadwinner. It's ridiculous, man. I just don't. Let's continue.
In order for you to realize that, in order for you to do better, you have to stay away. You got to get away from them. You got to say, you know what? I'm totally separating myself from them. I'm not dealing with them no more. They're nothing but Brad worshipers, and they just want to see the destruction of us. So let me just stay away. But no. Y'all would listen to me and still go over there and listen to those guys. And before I used to say, yeah, if you I don't care.
Let me tell y'all something. The lack of respect that they have for black men, that's Brad worship as well. I know a lot of black men will say, hey, you can't say that black women who are with black men are Brad worshipers. You can't call those black women Brad worshipers. Yes, you can. Because look at how she talks to them. You see the title of this stream. Those of you black men who are married and in serious relationships with black women, y'all are being disrespected every day. You're fighting with them every day, nonstop. She is constantly yelling at you, constantly doing things to you, bothering you, and keeping drama going. Those relationships, you know what they really are? It involves black men who have adapted to the drama. You don't try to push those relationships. Oh, look, see, this is an example of black women cooperating with black men. No. Every relationship I've seen involves black women being nasty and disrespectful to these black men who are taking care of them. Let's get even more serious. You black men out there, you know as well as I do that the best examples are the women in your family. True or false? See, people don't like to talk about their mother, their grandmother, their sisters, their cousins. Talk about them. Reflect on them. My mother was with a man, and every day he went to work, she was on the computer looking for another man, flirting with another man, would sometimes go to visit other men while living on his income. This was part of the culture. Looking for Brads. Looking for Enriques. Oh yeah. Black men are aware. You're seen as an ATM. You're valued by these black women primarily based on how much you're willing to take care of them. You're not valued for your looks, your genetics, for what you are, like Brad. They value Brad because of what he is. Not because of his income or nothing like that. His very existence is valued. Do you really think they value your existence? Soon as you walk home in the house from working 10, 12 hours, you're getting attacked. You're walking into a fight. There ain't no food that's cooked. There's an attitude that's cooked. And you about to eat it. There is no respect there. And I don't know why so many black men try to front. Stop fronting. You're not respected. Those of you black men who are married, even LeBron James's wife, disrespecting him, calling him a nigger. Even if a black man is rich, he ain't getting no real respect. Yeah. Because, see, when you talk like I'm talking, the one thing that they're going to say, the best rebuttal that they can give is they want to point to some black couples somewhere. Okay, let's look at them black couples. I guarantee you that man is being disrespected nonstop. She's wearing the pants. He is degrading. He is being degraded nonstop, emasculated nonstop. She has the last say. He is not allowed to be a leader. He does not have authority in that home. He's emasculated. And he is not respected or appreciated. She is simply with him because he is willing to take care of her, pay all her bills. And she don't have to work. It's the only time they willing to really get with you. That ain't no example of no black woman cooperating. They're only willing to get with black men if they can dominate black men. And even when they dominate you, again, that's not respect. They're not respecting you. You are just their ATM. I told y'all about how horrible of a life my grandmother's husband had. He went crazy, lost his mind, I suspect as a result. They had, I think, 8 kids together. Only 2 of them were his. But he was told that all of them were his by her. And he took care of them as if they were his. He took care of 6 kids and those kids' kids. Wasn't even his. Just being used. Never respected. Never truly respected. This is the lifestyle black men are running away from and saying enough is enough. I am not going through that. That's the culture. That's the black American culture if you want to really talk about it. It's always been about black men getting railroaded, used, disrespected, talked down on. No, thank you. That lack of respect, that cultural lack of respect that they have for black men, that is also Brad worship. Because if it was a Brad, the relationship would be different, at least in the beginning. Because they are so used to being wicked and evil, eventually Brad is going to get a taste of that as well. And that's when Brad decides to bounce. But they don't care because they got a baby out of it. Living on black men, living on our dollar is a culture in black America that came out of the era between 1867 and the 1960s. Why do y'all think that after the 60s, when they had equality, why do you think all the way up to this day, they have always expected to be taken care of? They've never dropped that attitude. They've always expected for a black man to take care of them, pay all the bills. You shack up with them, even if they have a job. Once you are living with them, they're going to quit their job. They are going to quit their job. And I'm talking about today. And they're going to expect you to take care of them, to pay all of the bills. Oh, you think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? This is culture right here.
I'm like, all right, cool. So Monday came home and he was like, babe, I lost my job. I'm like, all right, cool. So a month later, like the bills, it was time for the bills or whatever, and I'm like, the bills due, babe, or whatever. And he was like, okay, I'm not working. And I'm just, in a month, like, it's all kind of hustles. You could have been doing something or whatever.
In other words, you handle the bills for a change. I lost my job. The first wave of bills is coming since I lost my job. Can you cover the bills for 1 month? He, no doubt, has been paying all the bills all the other months. Can you handle 1 month, please? This is her response.
Whatever. So I told him, I said, look, if I pay these bills, are you going to pay me the money back?
Do you think she has been paying him back? All the while he's been paying the bills. Do you think she has been paying him back? This is our culture. This is their culture. Excuse me. It's black women's culture. Listen.
This man had the nerve to tell me, why should I pay my wife back for...
Good point, brother.
For paying our bills. I told this man from day one, my money is my money, and his money is our money.
My money is my money. His money is our money. That's black American women's culture. Always has been. Ever since 1867. Period. You gonna tell me? I know my culture. I know my people. This is how they've always been. My money is my money. Your money is our money. And it's really my money. Because you can only have so much money for yourself. You get to spend however much money you want on yourself that I tell you you can spend on yourself. And they've brought that culture to the modern era. And this is what black men are sick of. This sick plantation mentality of theirs. We're sick of it. Nobody about to be your slave. This is what they want. And this is a married couple, mind you. She don't even respect him as a husband who has been paying the bills. You can tell he's been the one paying the bills. You can tell that this is the first time that she was expected to pay the bills. And there's only 1 month of bills. No respect. No respect. Now, no doubt, this would have been an example that a pro-black would have thrown in my face. Like, look, here's a married couple. And you see the mentality of a black woman who has been married to a black man. She expects to be taken care of as if she's a child. And then when he falls on hard times and she is expected to pay the bills, she's talking about, is you going to pay me back? My money is my money. Your money is our money. That's why you're epically single.
Should I pay my wife back for paying our bills? I told this man from day one, my money is my money, and his money is our money. Why should I spend my money paying the bills? Like, no, he should have paid me back. So that's when I decided, like, I can't be with this man no more. So
why should I use my money to pay the bills for a house that I live in? Get a load of this. This is black American female culture, period. Nobody gonna convince me otherwise. So you tell me, do you think this is going to be fixed simply by telling them, hey sister, let's end this gender war? Hey sisters, we need to stop this gender war. This is a whole brain configuration right here. You ain't about to just lecture this out of them. You ain't about to sit them down and say, look, sister, black men love you. We've been through so much together. We ain't been through nothing together. We've been through us taking care of them. That's the only thing that's been happening throughout black American history. We were freed, and then we started taking care of them as if they were kids. And the welfare program, Section 8, that did not remove those expectations from their minds. It did not. Ain't nobody gonna point the finger at black men for this so-called gender war. That ain't gonna happen. They got this plantation mentality. They completely lack morals. They do not value things that are most important in the world. The things that they value most is ratchetness, degenerate things.
To the attention that she may have wanted. Let me run down the names of her new lip gloss line.
Sexy Red last year brought out a line of lip gloss. Listen to the names of the lip glosses.
So Sexy Red made a post on Instagram announcing this launch, and this is what the post said. Boss Lady Speakin', new and improved at Sexy Red _products is back better than ever. Introducing Northside Princess the brand at Get Northside. My first product will be my lip gloss. Juice, Hole Brown, Nut, Hole Pink, Yellow Discharge, Gonorrhea, Blue Balls, on my period. Now,
here it is right here. I got you. Let's go down the list. Coochie Juice, Booty Hole Brown, Nut, Pussy Hole Pink, Yellow Discharge, Gonorrhea, Blue Balls, Sex on my period. From the ratchet degenerate Sexy Red. This all in the face of CDC reports that indicate that nearly 50% of black women 14 to 49 have herpes. And Sexy Red and her handlers decide, oh, let's make a joke out of it. They lead in HIV cases. And you might have thought that this woman here was one of the classy women.
this can be seen as something she did in order for it to be attention grabbing. But we have to look at the bigger picture.
No, it's not just attention grabbing. It's not just attention grabbing. It's a revealing of your real character.
Lip gloss brand, and the names for my lip gloss is something that nobody would have ever thought of. I got one called Nut, and it's the color of some nut. I got one called Gonorrhea.
A lot of black people will say, oh, it's just her handlers. It's the people behind her who are telling her to be this way, to look this way, to name her lip gloss these things. No. This is what she is into also, or else she wouldn't be able to do it. If this is not your real and natural true spirit and character, you wouldn't be able to go through with it.
It's green like gonorrhea. I got one called Yellow Discharge, like how girls be having yellow discharge. Hole pink, booty hole brown, coochie juice. And coochie juice is clear with silver glitter. It's cute, like the cute, and it smells good. And it's sold, like, you know, people gonna talk shit.
She said it's sold. Who you think buying it?
Other people was like, you is a marketing genius, because the sold so fast. And it smell good too.
Who you think bought it?
Thinking of all out the box. It's not even on purpose. It's just like my brain helped me think outside the box to do some crazy shit.
Now, though I think men find any excuse to jump down women's throats, I do believe some of their concerns...
No. This is what they call finding any excuse. Something that's in your face, ratchet and degenerate. Oh, you're nitpicking. That's a truly degenerate group of women right there.
About Sexy Red are pretty valid. So in reference to Sexy Red, the main issue is that aside from her artistry, which is her very raunchy lyrics, the things she does outside of her music strongly pertain to the lyrics that she is saying in her songs. It seems as if Sexy Red is trying to put on this portrayal. Once again, I listen to her music. I like her EP that she just released.
Boom! This broad right here is a Sexy Red fan? How many of you brothers listen to this garbage? I know some of you do because you've been raised by Keishas and you got Keisha in you. But this is primarily black women listening to this garbage. Don't tell me that does not speak to the character that you have. Ain't no way I'm going to listen to this garbage. The support that Sexy Red gets, she's getting it from black women. This is yet another dynamic that black men are getting fed up with. We are fed up with the filth, the plantation ratchetness. It's just so plantation. It's like they're fresh off the plantation. Again, no real morals. Everything is vile, wicked, evil, mean, disgusting, disrespectful.
Bitch, fuck progress. I just want to say, fuck Sylvia. Fuck Naomi with y'all bald-headed ass, dirty ass bitches. Y'all be treating people any type of motherfucking way. Y'all got me fucked up and everybody else in this bitch. If y'all want somebody to respect y'all, learn how to respect y'all motherfucking employees. Fuck all you bitches. Fuck Latasha, fuck Naomi, fuck Arlisha, fuck all you bitches. Y'all all unfair as fuck. And if you work at Coast, don't even think about working at this motherfucker because they don't give a fuck about you. The fuck? If you a motherfucking manager, you can do whatever you want, Sylvia. Get a new wig, bitch.
What type of worker, employee, gets on the flipping intercom and does that? Keisha culture. That's what. I'm telling you, man, their brains do not function the way a normal woman's brain is supposed to function. And this is a cultural thing. This is them collectively. Collectively, they have dysfunctional brains. You listen to some of Tariq's old video, even he acknowledges it. Some of you are familiar with some of those videos where he used to talk about he used to be in love with non-black women. And, there's an argument that even today, insane. A lot of black men have had to deal with this type of attitude on a daily basis. And many of them still do. And those who do, like I said, you have adapted to the drama. You're not a symbol or an example of black love. You're not. So I don't want nobody pointing towards, oh, look at this black married couple here. Look at this black couple there. You get into their day-to-day life, and you're going to see this. That's what you're going to see. So when we're long gone, when black Americans are no longer on this earth, people are going to have access to videos like this. And I want the record to show the truth. It had nothing to do with black men at all. Black men have gone above and beyond. Yes, many of us have been destroyed as a result of being raised only by these women. I mean, how wouldn't we take damage? We took a lot of damage being raised under the single black mother epidemic. It inflicted a lot of damage on the black male collective. But even after all that, guess what? We're still higher earners than them. Over 50% of us are in the middle class. We're still doing much better. Do y'all know what their single rate or statistics really represents? It represents so many black men growing up and separating themselves from this type of madness. They are growing up and they are realizing that in this world, you have to work to make a living. Under their welfare recipient mothers, they didn't get that example. No, man, they didn't have an example. They didn't grow up seeing their parents going to work for 8, 10, 12 hours every day of the week. But even without fathers, there's a good chunk of black men who are growing up and saying, this is not the way to live, to sell drugs for money, to rob for money, to be on welfare. You have to work. And we living life the way we're supposed to, we are also realizing that we are not meant to be taking care of these lazy women. Here recently, in the past last week, there was a Keisha who was hired at my job. An obese Keisha hired at my job, well, the place where I work. And she does manual labor. So she has to lift things, right? And you know, she has to repack things, stuff like that. Well, when she works, guess what she does? She sits down. Nobody else sits down. No matter what she's doing, she has to sit her big fat lazy butt down to do it. And it looks overly ridiculous. Because she's so fat and lazy, she has to sit down and do everything. You know what else happened? In her very first week of working there, do you know what else happened? She called off. She wasn't even there on Friday. Begged the supervisor for what? A day off. Requested a day off in your very first week. This big fat lazy Keisha ain't gonna make it. Those of you black men who work for a living, you know she ain't gonna make it. They are not used to working. And the crazy thing is, they don't respect men who are workers. They only look at you as an ATM. Buy my nails. I need my hair done. I need this and that done. Oh, I got a job now, but now we married and we in a house together. I'm about to quit my job. Y'all saw AC recently uploaded a video where a chick did that, talking about she's going to pay off her school debt. I quit my job so I can, no, she stopped paying bills. I stopped paying bills so I can pay off my student loan. You pay all the bills. I heard from my cousin that I hadn't heard from or seen in years. He told me of the same experience. He moved to Atlanta, even though he lives right here in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. For a moment, he moved to Atlanta with his girl. They both had jobs. They both found a job before they even moved down there. Moved in the same house, and in no time, she quit her job. And when he had a discussion with her, like, hey, you need to get a job. I'm not going to be paying all of these bills myself. She refused to get a job. They are lazy, don't like to work, and want to be taken care of as if they are kids. When they do try to work, they are so fat and obese, they can't commit to a job. And when they do get a job where they're sitting their big fat lazy behinds down on the desk somewhere all day, they don't make enough money to support a household. And even those jobs they end up quitting. So they get poor work ethics on top of poor attitudes, on top of a bunch of hatred, on top of everything negative, worshiping everything degenerate. Nothing positive is at the forefront of their being. Nothing. Wig wearers for life. Stank attitudes for life. Big fat jelly rolls for life. Big lazy don't want to work for life. And you expect somebody to take care of you? If you don't bounce with the quickness, that's why can't nobody shame us for avoiding these women. This is what it is. I've talked to more pro-black men than I can remember who said I can't deal with them no more. It's so bad with them, they will cause pro-black men to avoid them. It's that bad. Now, what do you do with a group of women like this? If they are to change, and I'm not suggesting that black men collectively do this, but if they are to change, how should it be done? I'm telling you now, it is not going to be done with no goofy lecture talking about, sisters, you need to stop this gender war. No. Do you know how it's even possible? Do you know how it would be possible if it were to be done, if they were to change? For them to have true motivation to change, do you know how it would be done? The only way is for all black men to avoid them. It's for black men to say collectively, I don't want you. Now what you gonna do? Brad don't want you. Your own men don't want you. The only way for them to change is to go through something extreme. Their dysfunction is extreme. And the only way to fix it is for them to experience something extreme. You can't take no subtle approach to fix extreme problems. Those of you brothers who work out, those of you brothers who are kind of buff, didn't you have to go through week after week of soreness? Didn't you have to leave the gym being so weak you couldn't even pick up a pencil? Didn't you have to go through pain and suffering to get those biceps and them triceps and that chest? Didn't it take hard work and sweat? Ain't nothing gonna convince me otherwise. I know black American women. Shout out to all of you. Now see you on the next live.